Oscar fam. So this is what I actually stumbled upon, which intrigued me, because this is something interesting. Because on these fish, apparently, I noticed the eyeball also having the same color as the entire body. So usually when you kind of dye a fish or inject the fish with dye, it's gonna be the outer layer of the fish, or it's gonna be the body of the fish that's gonna be having that particular pigment of whatever it's been dyed on. But the eye usually has the natural color of whatever it would be. So what happened this time was, I kind of noticed the fish having the eye of the particular color of what they turned into. And that is what got me thinking of how is it even possible, or how do they manage to do it. And when I kind of did some digging around, I stumbled upon another video which kind of speaks about a particular scientist who came up with this idea way back in the 1980s to check the pollution in the water. Apparently looks like breeding zebrafish and introducing them into polluted water was more cost effective than using test kits. So how did they come about doing this is introduction of genomes into the fish, into the zebrafish. So if you look at it, when I say genomes, this particular fluorescent DNA was first picked up from the jellyfish and then introduced to the zebrafish. If you're looking at how was it done and stuff like that, there's going to be a bunch of slides of how they apparently did it, and you all can kind of get that idea of what happened and why did it happen and how did it happen. So apparently the fish is injected with the genome, the fish yolk, the sac of the fish is actually injected with genome, and there is a vigorous process of, it starts off and at 4 days old, when the yolk is actually when the yolk is ready, when they kind of see there is some sort of a growth in the yolk, they kind of inject the yolk, the zebrafish's yolk, with certain formulas and dioxin exposure and PCB's exposure, and all of this is kind of taken care of. The genome kind of activates in the fish. So what actually happens is, as soon as the genome is actually activated in the fish is introduced. When it's introduced to the water, where the polluted water, the pollutants, then the amount of pollutants in the water kind of have the fish glow brighter, or like a darker green maybe. So that the pollutant in the water, what triggers the fish, how bright is it going to be reflecting. So apparently this caught on in the mainstream, and they had a bigger idea of introducing these fish to the masses, like on commercial scale. So because this was created to check the pollutants in the water, because this was more. If you're thinking this actually reminds you of a movie like Jurassic Park, yes, that is something even what I thought of, because this is something like that, because wherein genomes are being introduced into the egg in order for them to create something to test the waters. And the best part about this was that the fish can actually kind of recover from what they've been exposed to if they've been left alone in fresh water for close to 2 to 3 days. They keep swimming around, they're up and running, and they can be reintroduced to check on pollutants. And apparently, and another thing what I kind of stumbled upon was these fish in the market today. Apparently they're not supposed to be breeding, they're not supposed to breed, but there have been reports of breeders being lucky in breeding them, or successful in breeding them. So go figure. Apparently, initially those days they were bred in a way that they weren't supposed to reproduce, but as of now they have been reproducing.
And the reason why they weren't supposed to reproduce was that there were possibilities of them turning into invasive species. Because imagine if you had colored tetras, colored bettas, or colored danios swimming around in your stream, in your river streams, right? And that would actually complicate things, because that is actually toying with nature. And that was one of the reasons why they were created in such a way that they weren't supposed to reproduce when introduced into water resources which were not in the control of the scientists.